We're from VR Zone and today we are in Singapore in the Flower Dome at Gardens by the Bay. Today we are looking at the launch of the new Samsung Galaxy Note 9. So right now we're going to do an unboxing in this beautiful place. So first off, the box opens to reveal the manuals in this small box and a SIM tool. Oh, and a case too. It's always nice when you include a case. Next you see the phone itself. So the phone's a huge improvement from the last iteration, the Note 8. So in addition to having the pen that we've now come to grow and love, the pen now can do many different things. Like you can take a selfie with it, and you can take notes on it even when the screen is off. And this time round, your notes will be taken in the color in which your device is. So in this case, we have it in black. You can see nothing much has changed on the Note 8. Notably, the fingerprint sensor has moved down to a more centralized location. So this means you no longer smudge the camera lens when you try to unlock it with your finger. So that's a huge improvement from the complaints we had from the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 last year. Also in the box is a list of different things that you get with the Samsung Galaxy Note 9. In the box there's plenty of there's also plenty of accessories that make your life a lot easier. You've got your adaptive fast charging. This one's in the European plug, the UK plug that we use here in Singapore. You get the one that suits your country. Pretty notably, you've got a USB-A to USB-C adapter. So this will be useful, especially if you're using it as a desktop, for desktop applications, which Samsung is trying to tout. It's going to be a very useful business tool, productivity tool. There's also a micro USB to USB-C adapter, which is going to be useful if you happen to have the wrong cable in your bag to accompany your portable charger when you're out and about. So it's pretty handy. Well, one thing to note is that this actually has a 3.5mm jack, so there's no need for a USB-C to 3.5mm dongle. So that's a huge plus for everyone, especially the audiophiles. What else is also in the box is you've got nice AKG headphones. So Samsung has partnered with AKG across its devices that have been launched at the keynote just yesterday in New York, and a bunch of silicone ear accessories to make sure that they give you the perfect fit. You get a USB-C charging cable, and I'm not sure if this is 3.1, and that's about all in the box. Next up, what we'll look at is its selfie functions. So for selfie focus, what it does is it uses a range of sensors that are up top to sense your face and where you're, and does edge detection for you. So right here you can see that it's not the best, but when you keep still, it really figures out where the edge of my face is pretty well, and it rejects everything else. In selfie mode, there's a beautification mode, but you know, as a guy, I tend to turn it off. Well, something that looks pretty familiar, especially those familiar with iOS, there is an AR emoji function. And this time around, they've added a few more Disney characters. I'm not sure where they are, but they've said that they added a few Disney characters. I'm not sure if this is one. Is this a Disney character? Because the Samsung Galaxy Note 9 only has a single front-facing camera up top, it loses out to other phones like the LG V30, which has dual front-facing cameras that allow you to take in a wider angle, which is pretty useful, especially when you have a big selfie to take. In this function, what you do instead is kind of a panorama. You take a picture, and then you move it to the left, and you move it to the right, and what it does is it expands your field of view to take in even more people. So we'll flip over the camera and we look at its main functions. So you know, we see the same stuff that we've seen on other cameras. There's a Pro function. You can see all the autofocus dots in the middle. We've got impressive shutter speed that goes way up, which will be pretty useful, especially in really harsh lighting. You can choose to get manual focus and everything else that you normally get on other smartphones. There's live focus too, and you can see that it automatically zooms in. So on this configuration, the twin cameras are configured in such a way that there's a normal lens, which is about a 28mm equivalent, and there's a telephoto lens that zooms in and helps you take a nice portrait photo.
Yeah, that's right.
There's auto for those who are too lazy to dive to the settings, and there's something that we've seen on the S9 too, which is super slow-mo. Super slow-mo didn't work very well on the S9, primarily because it was difficult to trigger at the right time. So what it does now is you can't actually choose when the super slow-mo kicks in. It kicks in by its own volition. We try super slow-mo on the vents up down there. Can you see it? You can see that it's really very slow. I think it's one of the slowest amongst all the smartphones that we have in the market right now. So it's a pretty good feature to have. But we also have to recall that at such slow speeds, we need a very fast shutter speed. So it only works very well when there's bright light or when the subject is very well lit.